everybody. This is Jess from 3D Learning Experts, and you're listening to the LD Experts Podcast, the show for busy parents who want to help their kids with learning disabilities, or as I like to say, learning differences, go from surviving to thriving. Hello, everybody. Today we have a special guest, Jen Hernandez, who is a mindset nutrition coach, and she helps moms help themselves and their kids. And her company name is Better Together Family Kickstart. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you so much for having me, Jess.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We had our pre-call and it was so amazing. So I can't wait to share all of your story and how you help people and what your services are with our audience, because you don't just focus on your own health and wellness, you focus on doing it with your son, which is a great way to incorporate activities with the family and have a healthy lifestyle. So tell us, how did you get started in being a health and mindset coach?
Well, thank you so much for letting me share my story. That's something that's been a gift that I totally didn't expect when I first got started. So to tell you how I got started, I have to take you back a little bit to a struggle that I had for 20 years. So I'm 42 here. I'll be 43 in March of 2023. And all of my 20s and 30s, I really struggled with nutrition and body image and how I felt about myself. And I really yo-yo dieted a lot. I mean, go back to I think 1998 was my first official diet with Atkins. And even when I was still in high school, I would take pills and patches and wraps that I was buying both from people as well as at the local drugstore aisle. And I just had this idea that life would feel better and be better if I was smaller. And it's something that, if I'm honest, started when I was in middle school. And when I was in middle school, I secretly would wrap my waist at night in sweatshirts to try to tie my stomach and make it smaller, and just wish that in the morning I would wake up attractive and a smaller size. Now, I never told anybody, I never confided in anybody, and I hid it really well. And that's also about the time some secret eating happened. I would take some quarters off the table after school and get a huge family-sized bag of chips on the way home. Both my parents were self-employed, working out of the home, so we were latchkey kids. And watching the after-school specials, I would eat that whole bag of chips and somehow feel even worse. Then hide the bag in paper towels at the bottom of the garbage can. And so that came with me from middle school into my 20s, where I would stop at the drive-through after work and have a Happy Meal or a drive-through number, and then throw it away at the gas station on the way home and have dinner like nothing happened. So I really had this unhealthy relationship with food and my body. And because of this, you got a different size me every 6 months, whether I was taking a pill or a patch or a wrap, something I was doing really good physically, I'd be down 30, 40, 50 pounds. And then another 6 months, I'd be back up again, another 50, 60 pounds. And I cycled that way for all of my 20s and most of my 30s. What happened is I ended up being a single mom, and we planned the child, very excited and happy to have the child, but the whole story wasn't there. And I ended up being an instant single mom. And when I was raising my son, I really got to a point where I had to pick myself up off the floor, and I started working on myself. I started walking in a park and moving forward. And although I was doing some healthier things, I still had all these ideas about needing diets and quick fixes. So I was drinking fat burning coffee and taking pills and whatever was coming out. I mean, if you name it, I've probably tried it. And what happened is when my little man started watching me and asked for fat burning coffee from me, it really made me pause, because I realized that all this time that he was in my life, those eyes were learning from me. And I really realized that importance of role model. Now, I would like to say that that moment alone was what helped me get forward. But what actually started happening is that it kicked me enough to make me throw away the patches and the wraps and the burning coffee and things like that. Things that I would find harmful to him if he got his hands on them by watching me. And I threw all those things away and started a health journey. However, I still had a lot of stuff in the house. He would have his gummies and his cookies and his little 100-calorie packs and juice boxes. And so here I am trying to go all or nothing in healthy eating, and I couldn't stop eating his gummies and cookies and all those things that I had for him. And the truth is, in the very beginning, I started the journey by stopping buying those things because I couldn't control myself as an adult. And I had a couple really hard moments where looking out the kitchen window, getting things ready, I was either doing dishes or something, and he was at the table asking for gummies. And I didn't have any. They weren't in the house because I couldn't have them in the house or I would eat them all. And he threw himself on the floor. Now, by this time, he was about 5, and he threw himself on the floor like a 2-year-old and kicking and screaming and crying. And I just remember looking out that kitchen window, crying that, one, if I had gummies, I would have given it to him. I mean, what mom hasn't been at the store or in a pinch and like, you need the tears to stop and you just give them what they're wanting, right? Like, but I didn't have it. And then it hit me that I got my child addicted to the sugar and the candy and the gummies that as an adult, I couldn't control myself around. And that was another one of those moments. So it was a series of moments on a journey that made me realize, wow, I have the opportunity here to either teach him how to live like I did my 20s and 30s, or to bring him with me and hopefully prevent all those shame and pain and tears that I had, and have that cycle broken for him and give him a way to move forward happy and healthy. And once I started feeling how great it felt, once my child started asking for grapes and apples and even taking my celery and even getting a little more positive and working out with me and copying what I was doing, that felt so good. I couldn't keep it to myself. And so that's when I got to start sharing and offering tools and communities that had been supporting and helping me.
That is such an awesome story. And, it's funny, we talked about it about a month ago. I just met with my hairdresser yesterday, and she was telling me how her daughter won't eat anything other than McDonald's hamburgers. And she was saying they've gotten so expensive. She told her daughter she's not buying them anymore. And I'm like, well, that's good. But she said her daughter won't eat anything. So now she's got the problem that if she doesn't buy her daughter McDonald's hamburgers, her daughter will go without eating. Did you experience anything like that with your son when you were trying to break him of his sugar addiction?
That's a great question. And I know your hairdresser is not alone. I've talked to several moms that have kids put up their hands and refuse to eat or throw food on the floor. I will be honest, there's hard mom moments. There are definitely hard mom moments when you're drawing the line and doing what's good for them. And I think that goes with changing food, or sometimes that fight happens trying to put a coat and gloves on in winter. So I personally didn't have him go on an all-out ban. So I would need a little more information, and like that's something I would have a conversation and work with her on. I don't know how old her daughter is and how, what else is she eating? What is mom eating? What are the choices? What could we play with? How could we kind of more add things in and not really take it off as hard, as cold turkey, as you would say. And what are the conversations happening around that, as well as how long she's actually not going with eating. I know there was a time when he was younger, before I was on my health journey, where he would only eat hot dog pieces, and those aren't the greatest things. It was bananas and hot dog pieces was, what what he ate for, I want to say it felt like years, but it was probably only 2 months. And that's that's my encouragement that I do want to give you, is that sometimes when you're in it, it feels like forever and it feels so hard. And at the same time, looking back, those were just a few moments, and it was hardest those first 2 or 3 weeks. It did get much easier once he understood, oh, we're really doing this. Like sometimes our kids test us and like, oh, see what I can get away with this time. So no, we haven't had a full on, I refuse to eat anything. But yeah, there's definitely some things that we have conversations when I'm helping other moms. So I know she's not alone, if that's any consolation.
Well, and I mean, I think it's a pandemic or an epidemic or whatever the right demic word is that's going on in our country today, where so much of our food is so unhealthy that kids they're addicted to the sugars and the salts and the different things in the food, that they don't want the healthier, not as flavorful stuff. So I'm sure that is a big situation going on.
Yeah, there's some really scary studies. Oh, I apologize.
No, go on.
There's some really scary studies just about your taste buds alone, that kids who eat watermelon candy do not think watermelon, the fruit, is sweet. And I mean, you can't tell me any difference on a hot summer's day. That sweet, beautiful watermelon bite, that tastes so good. And because kids are getting desensitized on their taste buds, they are not tasting it. Now, the good news is your taste buds regrow every 28 days. I think they shed every 28 days. So that's why that first like 2 to 4 weeks is really the hard time to kind of, I say, mama, we got to mama it. It's time to go to bed because I know what's right for you. I know what's best for you type of hard conversations sometimes. And there's ways to make it fun. And that's where I hopefully help with some ideas and encouragement along the way.
So before we part ways, I'd love for you to share how you help mamas. But I'd like to talk a little bit more about your personal experience before we cover that, but don't let me forget.
Okay.
Because I definitely want us to talk about how you are helping moms and in turn their kids. So tell us more about your journey with your shedding your weight and your son following behind you.
I have to say, I love being able to share so many different tips. One of my favorite things is one is more than none. And this applies to anything that you are doing. Just like I shared in my 20s and 30s, I was living that yo-yo dieting. And what was really happening is the moment I couldn't hold it or I couldn't be perfect, I would retreat to how I was behaving before, because I didn't see the power of one step really can add up. So one fun way to kind of look at how numbers can add up is I'm someone who I drank at least one, if not three Coca-Colas a day. I would have that as the afternoon, often with the Happy Meal on the drive home. And it was just a standard. I felt like it had to go in the grocery cart. First thing that I did was walk in the grocery store and the juice and soda aisle was right in front of me. And I would get my 24 pack of soda for the week, and I would get the juice packs for the week. I thought that it had to always happen. I didn't think about changing it. And the neat thing is, though, if you take just one soda, So if you change nothing else in your life, you just take one soda and replace it with water a day, at the end of a year, you will have lost 16 pounds just because of removing that one soda a day. Whereas
Wow.
when you look at having one a day, it doesn't seem that much. I can have it, it's not that much. So if you add in having one soda a day, at the end of the year, you may go to put on your fall time clothing and say, "Ooh, what's happening? I gained weight overnight." But really, you gained it slowly throughout that whole year. So for me, one is more than none is taking one step forward towards how you want to feel and what you want to do. And also that be here in a year. That was one of the first things. I actually had a coach who, that was one of the first things she said to me is, be here in a year. Now, here I was in my 30s. I was over 330 pounds for the third time in my adult life. I was, coming off this 20 years of yo-yo dieting. I had had these image issues and health and food issues since middle school. And I planned on canceling her services in 30 days. I was going to learn everything and fix myself in 30 days. Well, the truth is, I think that we can overestimate what can happen in 30 days, yet we underestimate what we could really do in a year if we kept just trying to move forward. And that's to me what winning most often is. It's just taking that one more next step forward. So instead of throwing all the food out of your house, I like to play the hide and seek game. And let's take all the unhealthy snacks that you're used to grabbing off the counters, off the table, and hide them so that you don't see them first thing. You're not having to have that willpower battle every day, all day when you walk by them. And add some fruit out there. So that's some ways to get a start. And that's one of the things that I started doing was hiding my food. I would have to hide the peanut butter behind the jalapenos in the cabinet because you would often find me in the afternoon mindlessly eating peanut butter out of the jar. There was really no reason for it except for I was hungry because I wasn't fully feeding myself, and it was there. So once I moved it, I could start pivoting to, oh, well, these carrots or celery or this apple is actually easier to grab than a jar and a spoon that are hidden, right? And so making those small changes and implementing them. I'm also, something that has also really helped me is having a plan and actually paying for and having a coach and nutrition tools to learn from, being willing to follow that plan. I consider, investing in myself and having come on this journey, taking classes and courses and learning. I've really invested in myself because those are the things that then pay the good dividends. So think about every good habit you create or strengthen being like money in your bank account that interest is going to be compiling on. Those good habits are going to just keep paying you forward. So for me, having community, having other women in my circle who were working on the same thing, having those solid nutrition tools that I could reach into. I started talking early on about building my tool belt and thinking about I'm wearing a belt of tools and taking them around with me and looking for ways that I could try to do something one more step better instead of looking for perfect and waiting for Monday. So those are just a little modge podge of some of the things that really helped me along my journey.
Well, I keep thinking about, you said that you drank 3 bottles of soda or glasses of soda a day. And if you stop one, would you say you lose?
In a year, that's 16 pounds.
So that's right there. That's what, 36, 52 pounds for if you stop having all 3. That's 60.
I will have to pull up that compound math again. I know. Yeah, I know.
But
I
mean,
don't know.
that's right there. That's a quick way to lose weight and extend your life. I know. I used to drink 2 Starbucks lattes a day when I was actively raising my children. I went from never drinking coffee for 30 years until my 4th child was born and drinking 2 Starbucks a day. And so when I finally decided to stop buying 2 Starbucks a day, I lost 10 pounds in a couple of weeks
And save some
because
money.
I did. I mean, we were paying a whole car payment worth of money on my 2 Starbucks and my husband's 1 Starbucks a day. So we saved a lot of money when my mom bought us a espresso machine, and I started drinking espresso shots instead of adding any sugar or milk to it. And I mean, so right there, I lost 10 pounds and I didn't have to do anything other than give up my sugared coffee. So
And I commend you for that. I think it took me a year to cut back my coffee. Because I was just so tired. I was drinking 2 or 3 sodas a day and 2 or 3 coffees by noon. And my coffee was 2 Splenda packets and 4 mini moos. Like
wow.
not even real sugar. It was fake sugar. And I did have to back myself down. I went to 1 pack of sugar and 1 pack of Splenda instead of 2. Then I changed from creamer to unsweetened almond milk. Then I took out the other sugar and I backed it down till finally the coffee was so watered down. I was like, oh, it actually would taste better black. And so now I really enjoy black coffee. I'll have 1 cup a day. And what's amazing is when you're fueling yourself better, you don't even really need it. I enjoy it as like a ritual of a warmth, deep, enjoyable cup of coffee as part of my work routine. It's not really something that I'm looking for the energy or needing anymore. So that's another neat thing. Did you find any of that yourself?
Well, so not when I got rid of the sugar and the milk, but I don't drink any coffee anymore because I didn't like the highs and lows that I would experience drinking coffee. So I switched to drinking just tea. And once in a while, when we go to Starbucks, I'm like, oh, I just want to have a treat and get a latte. But it's not a treat for me anymore. My body is not used to it. And so it makes me feel nauseous. I get dizzy. And so now when we go to Starbucks for a treat, I have a hot chai tea latte. And so that's, it's got the nice sweet sugary taste that is my treat. But you're so right, because I don't need the caffeine that I needed, because when I drank coffee, I would drink my morning coffee, and then by 2:30, 3 in the afternoon, I had to have an afternoon coffee to get through the rest of the day. When I drink my tea, I don't crash. I don't have those highs and lows. I just drink it in the morning, and it is more just for the warmth. I drink 1 cup of tea, then I drink a hot or a warm cup of water with lime in it. And then I drink another cup of tea until the day is warmed up. So,
Oh, I love it. I love that warm lime water, lemon water.
yeah, because, there's mixed things. Sometimes people will say tea is like drinking water. And then other people will say, no, that's not the same as drinking water. So that's why I started drinking the warm lime water. So I know I'm getting just water.
I like that.
Yeah. So is it appropriate to ask how much weight you released and in how much time?
Well, I've been on this health journey now for 6 years, and the last 3 years I've been down over 100 pounds, which is also the last 3 years I've been wearing the same clothing for 3 years, which someone who used to have to shop every 6 months and had a closet ranging from size 12 to size 28, not needing to buy clothing for 3 years, like that alone just excites me so much. I feel so good that I can feel so good and sustain it. So it's been a sustained loss. The first year I evicted 80 pounds. It took another 6 months to get to that 100-pound mark. I think it was about 6 or 8 months. I will say that first year, I really was focused and working hard. I was very detailed with tracking so that I could go over what I was eating and consuming and how it was affecting me with my coach. I was really following and really trying to learn and keeping a lot of things out of the house. And these last 3 years, I've been getting to have a lot of fun and play with, well, what can I have? How much can I enjoy a little? Get a little more flexible with what we're eating and enjoying, to see how this new me can sustain even longer. So it did take probably, I think it was the first week, people already noticed an energy shift.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
oh yeah, the first week, even if the scale didn't move, the first week of really giving myself water and starting to move my body with intent and having that focus forward, the first week people said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it, because you're like a whole new woman. You totally like uplifted the office when you came in today. And I was someone who would come in the office late from Dunkin' Donuts. I also, they miss my car payment monthly. It was my drive-through breakfast spot on the way to work. And I would walk in like late with my head down and be hiding from everybody. And once I started having my own breakfast, getting myself set to go and coming into work, I was coming in with a smile, and I was, being silly. They would, make jokes that I was a unicorn ready to shove rainbows at everybody. And and just it was a big change that first week. The scale did jump, I think, the first month, and then it was like the same for about 2 or 3 months. So there were like jump pieces. And I see that trend a lot in working with women, is usually every 10 pounds, your body like does a reset. It needs to check. What you got you here won't get you there. You won't necessarily see it as fast on the scale, as your body's learning what to do and checking in to make sure that you're not losing weight because of something is wrong with your body. Like, your body is really intuitive and smart. And I think sometimes we can be a little hard looking for it to happen faster. But that's where we get to combine how are we feeling energy wise, taking pictures, seeing how our clothing's fitting differently, even just how we're interacting with others. So I was actually a newlywed when I started this journey. And at the beginning, I was hiding under blankets. I would like come home from work and just like get all the sweats and sweatshirts and cover up in blankets. And if my husband tried to touch my waist or my hip, I would pull away and be angry. It would cause a fight. And once I started taking care of myself and feeling a little stronger, that second or third week, I would be like, ooh, come check out my waist. So, I just think about how many more conversations I had and how my relationships changed for the positive, feeling better about me, because it was never about him. My love language is physical touch, and I was rejecting what I need and what I love because of how I felt about myself. And once I shifted how I felt, it didn't matter what I looked like. It mattered how I felt and was open to receive. And it just came right along with it. And that's again where my son comes in. I didn't have energy to play blocks with him. I was coming home from work 34, and I didn't have energy to sit on the floor and play blocks with my son. And
And
once I started, now I'm like, what are we going to do next? We just went for a 2.5 mile walk and played at the playground. I swang on the swings and climbed and played on everything myself like I was a kid again. I get to give him that mom instead of the mom that was tired and uncomfortable on the couch.
yeah, so he has a whole new outlook on what a mother-son relationship can be. I mean, this is life-changing, not just for you, but for your whole family.
Mm, absolutely. And it,
That's
it really
awesome.
does, it really does ripple out. It really does.
So let's talk about what you do for other people, how you help other families.
Well, absolutely. So first it starts with where are you? We got to know where you are, what you're doing and how you want to feel and where you want to get to. Everybody looks different because every family looks different. Some families have both parents working. Sometimes there's a parent that's home. The children are different ages. So we just look at how can we all get on the same page for the week and how do you really want to feel? And for me personally, it starts with us. I can't ask my son to eat more vegetables or drink a glass of water or exercise for 30 minutes if I'm not. So for me, I really focus on that first week of why do we want this? Why do we need this? How will it help our family? And how can I start now as the mom? And then get to connect the mom to either the nutrition tools, the fitness tools, or the one-on-one coaching based on what she needs and what we have worked together as a next step together. So one way that I can help is connecting them to a community with nutrition and fitness. We all, show up and work out together and meal prep together sometimes, or I can connect her to some one-on-one tools where she's going to be working more independently and creating on a self-paced journey through the family-friendly Kickstart. So we really kind of start with a conversation. How do you feel? What's going on? And how do you want to feel? What is it that you would like to see your family do activity and nutrition and health-wise in the future that you feel is missing?
So sounds like you start with goal setting for the individual. And then is your meal prepping online or in person or both?
I would love to meal prep in person. I actually found a little place local to the valley that I think it could work out. I haven't done that.
What valley? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in Lehigh Valley. I'm in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. So actually we live in Catasauqua, which is about an hour northeast of Philadelphia. So I did find a place that would work in person, but right now, once a month, we jump together on Zoom. And sometimes we even just chat it out on the phone. Some of us will catch each other prepping together and just jump on the phone.
So will you continue the virtual option or is this restricted for local people?
I haven't done it in person yet. I would like to at some point. I'm not totally sure how that looks. So definitely virtual has been something that I even started before the pandemic. I almost felt like I was prepared for Zoom land when it all happened because I had already been running morning meetups on Zoom to work out for 2 years prior to the pandemic. So I felt like I already was ready for it. I was like, I know how to Zoom.
So this will work for moms anywhere in the country, in the world, virtually.
Absolutely. I can help women where they are. Now, internationally, we would definitely have to work on time zone, and there are some cultural differences that I may or may not be a fit, but I definitely feel that I can help anyone at least know if working with me is the option for the next step, or know what I do and help them get to that next step and find who will help them.
And so why don't you share a little bit about how you get to know the people you're working with and help them decide if you're the right fit for them?
That's a great question. I set up a phone call. So first we have a 30-minute chat, just see if our energies match, see what our lifestyles are like, if they have any expectations or concerns. I love to hear a lot about what they've done before, a time in their life that maybe they had health and nutrition really working for them, or a time that they love fitness, or if this is something brand new they've never really had to focus on and paid attention to, and get an idea for how open they are to being flexible. Do we have a moment that I can do a little test with you?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so come with me here. I want you to pretend that you're holding a lemon. So get a lemon in your hand. Ooh, yours is bigger than mine. So you see the light is dancing off, the little dimples are a little shining in the light there as you move it, it's shining. Now give it a little squeeze. Ooh, mine got me in the eye. Did yours get you in the eye?
Oh, is this a cut lemon or a whole lemon?
No, it's a whole lemon, but the zest, it got me. Now we're going to do something that no one's ever done, to my knowledge, with a lemon. and we're going to take a bite of it. Are you taking a bite of your lemon? Did your mouth start watering at any point while you were imagining this?
No,
Like that?
my tongue tasted bitter when you
The
said
bitter tingle, right?
take a
For
bite.
me, that's like watering, like, oh no, it's sour, you know? Isn't that amazing? Because neither one of us have a lemon. Our minds are so powerful that they can believe we are going to bite into a sour fake lemon just by hearing the story. And so that's really a big part of where we start is our minds. And are we open to being flexible and learning a different way to look at food? I actually talk about coffee a lot in the beginning, only because I've yet to meet someone who loved black coffee from the very first sip. And if I ever find that person, I'm going to ask them then, do you like beer from the first sip? Because I've also never found someone who likes beer from the first sip. However, the coffee and beer industry is billions of dollars. So how are there millions of people consuming coffee and beer every single day when it tastes bad? It tastes bad. You have to learn to like it. Why do you take the time to learn to enjoy coffee and beer? Because you like how it makes you feel. Well, what if we found a way to learn how to enjoy fruit and vegetables that your family can come along with and you all actually felt better, that you could enjoy those family vacations running on the beach instead of hanging out in the hotel or staying home? What if you had enough energy that you woke up before your alarm, or you didn't sleep away most of the weekend if you're working during the week? You know, what if you could walk into a room and you could see your children's eyes light up at how proud they feel for finishing a workout or even helping you cook? Like, how would that feel? And if so, that's where we get to find a way to enjoy these things that don't necessarily taste as good at first bite as a McDonald's burger. However, if you do it long enough and you find ways that you like it with seasonings and flavors and trying a whole bunch of new things and bringing them into the kitchen with you, you'll find it actually tastes better than a McDonald's burger. I don't know if marketing is going to come after me, but I hadn't had a burger for years and happened on a long drive. I was like, the only place I see, okay, I'm just going to get a burger and a bottle of water and I'll leave it at that. And it didn't taste good. It was not enjoyable. As someone who had 2 to 3 meals a day, fast food, most of her 20s, I was amazed at how much my taste buds and my desires for real nutrition changed once I felt the difference. Does that sound helpful?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I love that how you showed how our mind controls our thinking and our feeling and our response, because that's absolutely true about every part of our lives. And the more people learn that and understand that, the more we can be in control of how we're living versus letting the world control us, the advertising control us, the marketing that wants to sell us whatever it is that they want to sell us, and they don't care that they're killing us and our children.
Oh man, we don't have enough time to hit on that, but I will just say that's one of the biggest things I start to work with is really getting to look at those labels, because you're right. Stores are not there to help us be healthy. They're there to sell us. The front of a label is there to sell us. Our kids are being sold to all day long. Anytime a commercial or an ad or a billboard or something that's even in the schools has a picture of this product. And like the kids' yogurts are the worst yogurts you could consume. You
Really?
might as well eat a candy bar. And between the dyes and the sugars in it, there's really you're not getting the value of yogurt at all. And what breaks my heart is you think you're making a good choice by buying that yogurt snack pack.
Uh-huh. Right.
And think you're doing something good by your child. And it just breaks my heart when we realize we're just addicting them to more sugar and dyes. We're just giving them more harmful things. And it's just wrong. It's just marketing. Man, I tell you when when I'm at a financial point that I can walk away from everything, you might just find me picketing in front of some really big companies. Yeah.
Well, this has been an incredible 30, 40 minutes we have spent together. I love your energy and what you're doing. It's so awesome that you are helping to not just change your family's life, but change the lives of anyone who wants to make the change in their life. And so what is the best way for people to get a hold of you?
I do enjoy old school Facebook. Maybe it's because I'm in my 40s, but you can find me on Facebook. I'm Jennifer Shade Hernandez. I've also been getting better in the Instagram world. To be happy and healthy, spelled with the number 2, and then spell out be happy and healthy. And also to be happy and healthy.com, my website, and all my contact information is on there. I can't necessarily answer everyone instantly, as I am a working mom, like a lot of the women I get to work with. However, I definitely will respond, and it'll be from me. And I'd love to hear how you want to feel.
Awesome. And Jen, do you still have your free offer for people, or is that no longer?
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. Thank
You
you
didn't
so much.
mention that one.
I didn't. I should have, the Google form didn't give me a copy. So I should have copied it before I submitted it. So I didn't remember everything I filled out. No, absolutely. So I have a 30 days to more, which is a friendly guide that you can do with your child. It's more focused towards the middle school age. However, you can absolutely bring it into your kitchen and into your home. There's some recipes and some fun tracking and some things. It just shares a little more of my story and some of the things that Joseph and I have done together over the last couple of years. So that 30 Days to More booklet is free to anyone who reaches out thanks to this event.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks again for joining us today. And I hope that this interview can help some moms out there feel hopeful that they can also start changing their personal and their families' food habits so that we can become a healthier nation than we have been in the last 20 or 30 years. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.